you got to keep looking up and asking for help from the Lord and from those around you. And it's just a joy to get up each and every morning, even though there's some days it takes a little longer to do it. But it's possible to navigate your way through it. You know, when you say, for better, for worse, that keeps ringing in your head.
Welcome to the Up Your Average podcast, where Keith and Doug give no-nonsense advice to level up your life. So buckle up and listen closely to Up Your Average.
Douglas, good morning.
What's up?
It is a great day to be here. We've got our friend Jan Jeter with us, and I was thinking about...
And we have our friend. That's right, Jan. You are our friend.
Well, my friends, I tell you.
Jan, let me tell you this.
What?
34 years ago, Monday, this coming Monday, 34 years ago, I know exactly where you were on that day.
November the 3rd. Is that your anniversary?
It is not.
Oh, that's...
It's the day after my anniversary. And on that day, at this time of the morning, I ran into you at the airport.
Right.
Where were you going?
I don't know.
I was thinking Florida, but I don't know.
We were going on that's possible because it was just John and myself, right?
Yep.
We didn't have Paris. So we were going on a conference, I'm sure.
So this is my first morning after my wedding night, just navigating life. And there were my two good friends right at the check-in gate at the
They were
airport.
there for you.
They were there for me. It was a beautiful time. Well, I think when I was thinking about this conversation with Jan today, Doug, I was thinking that this is a story of love, life, forgiveness, and all that fits in the middle of it. And what happened is I was preparing for today. Look in the window over there, Douglas.
Oh my goodness.
See if I can share the window with everybody.
See, let's say.
This is the elder king.
Yeah, this is Jamie, our elder care attorney friend. She's staring at us in her Halloween costume right now. Oh my goodness! We may have
little kids.
We may have a special guest here in a second.
That's so awesome.
That's hilarious.
Look at her.
I mean, she's into it.
She is.
Yeah, my ADD, this makes it hard to stay focused.
We're talking about love and all this great stuff.
Yeah, love, forgiveness, and life, something like that. So anyway, in my preparation of this, and Jan said a while ago she doesn't believe in coincidences, and I came across this little note right here. And this note says in it, now that I'm approaching my 70th birthday, I know there are more years behind me than in front of me. I am getting closer to seeing Jesus. So this letter was sent to me on August 3rd, 2001, just weeks before September 11th, right? And what happened is my friend John and I, we spent a ton of time together. Like, he was a great influence, a mentor of mine, and he employed me. I employed him for a time, and we just had a great love for one another. But we hit a conflict. But before we hit the conflict, let me introduce my friend Jamie. Jamie, why don't you join the podcast for a moment?
Is that? Hey,
We don't.
let me introduce you to the world's best elder care attorney.
You got it.
Hey, Jamie, you see our talking? I mean, whoever you are.
Jamie, this is our friend Jan.
Now, are you kidding?
This is Gimbal. Guess what day today is?
Happy Halloween, everybody.
This is
If you're if you're driving down the road listening to this, you don't have the benefit of seeing our friend here.
our special guest.
Did you drive to the office like that?
Oh my word.
Were you a thespian?
Thank you for joining us.
Great performance. Man.
We got candy and everything.
Hey, look at this. Yeah, Jamie is a master of marketing because we have candy in nicely wrapped bags with cute ribbons and business cards.
That's very good. That's
wonderful.
Very good. That's great.
That one's going to Connie. She likes the almond joy. So
that is hilarious. Well, life's fun
what
when
do
you
think,
have friends. Life's fun when you have friends.
Oh, sure.
it is.
Sure is.
It is. Well,
Helps you get up in the morning. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, the reality is that the friendships go beyond anything you could imagine, right? Like Jamie, I think we really befriended her during COVID in a really special way. And
some people are easier to befriend than others.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so with John, my friendship with John just expanded a lot of things. And I just, I don't even know how to express all that, but I was having a conversation with somebody evidently in July of 2001. And John and I had got crossways, and that person said to me, I don't think you have ever forgiven John. And I'm like, really? So I called John and we went to lunch, and it was prior to this August the 3rd, 2001. And we just had a really humbling conversation. And he said something in here that our conversation that day went on for 3 hours.
Oh my! Well,
like we covered,
Jan's like,
believe it.
Yeah. So we buried some skeletons in the closet. We came to we just put the past behind and just initiated a new friendship. And so that's why this letter existed, I think, is it just reminded me that forgiveness is the on-road to living life in a big way. And so John and my friendship hit a new level at that point in time. And I don't even know what that looked like. I hired John to mentor Doug as part of his role serving Gimbal. He did that for a long time. I don't remember what that was like. But Doug, do you remember what that experience was like for you?
I do, but when I think back on it, what I wonder is, he started, was it called Mentors Inc? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when he started Mentors Inc., that's coming off a very successful career as Forum Credit Union's man.
Right.
And so purpose was behind what he was about. And so that's what I think about when I think of John is he was willing to stay on point, directed towards purpose, and invest in other people. And that was his greatest strength.
Right.
And so, yeah, Keith hired him to meet with me, and we would go over to the Starbucks, for a couple hours once a week. And he was a great question asker.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of John's other great, there's a lot. I could go on about John. One of his great attributes was the ability to see long term. Like if I remember right, when he took the lead at the Forum Credit Union, he had to leave AT&T to do that. And AT&T was like a place where you would want to go work there. And if I remember right, it was just a small room that he was working out, serving the employees of AT&T. It might have been Indiana Bell at the time.
Right. It was Indiana Bell. And that was really before I knew him.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know that much about his work or even his position with AT&T, because from when I met him here in Indianapolis, but he worked at up in Kokomo with AT&T. But it's my understanding that Forum at that time, it was Telco.
Indiana Telco Credit Union, mm-hmm. Federal Credit Union at that point.
Right. They came after him.
Yeah. And it wasn't It wasn't much at that point, is what I understand. Yeah.
Right.
So the long-term nature of John in that role is, I don't even know how many employees they have today, but anybody I know that worked with John over there, if you mention his name, they
smile.
Yeah. He had a major influence over an organization that he hadn't been around for a long time.
Right.
So when I think about John, I smile, and I think about his influence on our culture. It's infinite. We will never know what that looks like. But there was a day that things started shifting with John. Like, he was a brilliant man, and you stop me if I push too hard, Jan. Okay. Yeah. I remember, like, when you guys lived over on Colebrook,
right?
Pre-internet, John was like, who is this young guy? I would go have conversations, so he couldn't research even what I was going to ask him. And I remember going over one night, and I'm like, John, tell me what the paraclete is. I don't know what the paraclete is. And he's staring at me. He was like, who is this guy? And why is he asking me these questions? And so we would have these heartfelt conversations all the way through, even over on Colebrook when you lived there. But when I think about you and walking alongside John, and when he started getting sick, there probably was a point when you would look back that stands out, that you all of a sudden one day realize, wait a minute, what is going on? I don't know what that looks like, but how would you describe that for you?
Scary.
It was scary?
It was scary because John took care of everything in our life. I was almost like a child, almost.
Yeah.
He was older. He was 10 and a half years older than me. And I was a little gal from the South, and I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought I would become the partner to a man like John. God, oh my, just unbelievable. But it was very scary. But the way, this is a man that ran a credit union, and my first, I can remember, indication was the fact that he was trying to write a check to pay one of our bills, and he could not do it.
So if I remember right, and I'm going from my memory bank, Jan, so you took care of his mom when she was struggling with
Yes,
this.
we did. We had.
So you had seen this before then.
Right.
So when that happened, did you all of a sudden have a revelation, or what did you think when that happened, when you saw him not able to fill out the check?
I can remember praying, Lord, what am I going to do? We really never talked about it. The two of us, we had his mom in our home for 2.5 years. And before we had to place her in a care facility. But I don't know. It was like, in the back of my mind, I thought, this is happening. We've got to get to the doctor. And we went to the doctor.
So you did that?
Yes, we went to the doctor, and they ran some tests. And I remember the phone call of the doctor calling me, standing in my kitchen and hearing he is in early Alzheimer's.
Now, there's a term, and I wrote it down and I forgot what it was, but there's a term, 5 syllables, that I don't recognize that I have this. Like the certain dementia patients can understand they have something going on, and others don't recognize anything that's going on. Which one of those was John?
I think he recognized, but he didn't. We never had a conversation one-on-one of I have dementia, Jan.
You never had that conversation. So when the doctor called and said
that,
you didn't say to him that that's what it was?
No.
That probably would have traumatized him, yes. I would think.
Yes, because he was a man that took charge and had always been in charge. And, I knew nothing. Early in our marriage, he kept saying, well, I'm going to show you how to take care of our finances. Okay, dear, I'll be glad to. Mm-hmm. Never did.
Never happened.
Never happened. Finally, when he retired and we started the mentors, I became the president and he was the vice president. And I thought, oh, wow, this is good. So in a way, I realized looking back, that was really the Lord used that to show me how to take care of taxes and that type of thing, because I handle that. John did not care about the computer whatsoever. He had a hard time with that. He would much rather, write. And that's another way I realized that what we were facing, because I would, when I would come home, he would be in his office there at the house. And I noticed he had a large tablet and he was trying to write the alphabet.
So he knew something was going on.
He did?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did.
It seems like this is from my experience with my mom, that there's a runway that the dementia goes on before you even know there's something going on there. So there's some period of time. Mm-hmm. So that was probably going on with John for some period of time. But that day when he couldn't write a check, how much longer did he live after that?
Maybe 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't as long as it could have been.
Right.
But I would say, 3, maybe 4 at the most, I think, because, yeah.
So with our friends that might watch this and their loved one can't, fill out a check, let's say, there's the shock of that moment. There's going to the doctor, mm-hmm. But then there's that span of who do I tell now? Like, how do I communicate this to somebody? Because my experience, like working with my mom, there's some embarrassing behaviors that can happen. Right. And I know, John, you'd want to protect his reputation and things like that. But how do you help others understand where?
Can I share a memory of that?
Okay.
Along that same line, and I can't remember if this was you or Debbie, Pete, but one of you guys made an observation of Jan, because John would come to our office solo. Right. He would pull up, we would have a meeting, but you started coming.
Oh, right.
And driving.
Right.
And you never said a thing.
No.
About the dementia or about, hey, John's experiencing the song Stand By Your Man. That I can't remember if it was Keith or Debbie who said it, but you did that really well. And what you did is you were able to communicate to us that something's going on, but you never said it with words.
That wasn't right. Yeah. John was a proud man.
Right.
And as long as it was possible, I wanted him to be able to continue with his life. You know, and I think the fact that we had been given the time with his mom, that was really a learning experience for me to see and know what was happening. So I really, as far as some behavior that he had down the road, with the dementia, it was not a shock when that happened. It was when it happened with his mom.
Right.
But each and every, I've had friends that I've tried to help along the way with parents or spouses that have gone through that. I just think it's different with each patient, or of what they go through. Although I think it's very important that you let them do and be as much as they possibly can.
So this is my recollection, Jan, okay? Mm-hmm. So we've been friends since the mid-'80s.
Right.
And something happened in the late 90s that I said, wait a minute, Jan's a different person. So it seemed like there was some preparatory work for you before even John got sick, that you had to learn some difficulties with was it your dad?
Yes.
So would you say in the book of Romans, Paul says that adversity leads to perseverance, and perseverance proven character, and that proven character leads to a hope that doesn't disappoint. So that adversity that you worked through, do you think that was part of your prep work?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I asked Jesus into my heart at the age of 9, because I was born into a family. My father was we call them worship leaders today. Then he was the choir director at the church. And I was in church from, I'm told, age 3 weeks on.
Wow.
That's in a good old Southern Baptist upbringing.
So you were there like 9 times a week.
Sometimes more than that, because my father went to we used to have revivals, and he was called in 2 weeks. And that was every night for 2 weeks. I was sitting on the front row listening to those good old hymns, You
didn't even have an iPad to do
Are you kidding?
That was, so when Caleb went down to Murray, I don't remember if it was Caleb or which of the kids, but I was explaining an idea of the Bible Belt, which people don't probably even know today, but that was, you were in that part of America.
Yes, I was in Tennessee, and yes. So from 9 until till 1996, I was in church. I was whatever. And yes, I knew Jesus and God and believed, and I knew he was in my heart. But it wasn't until he took me through that time with my dad in Florida. I had to make trips, get on the plane by myself, figure out everything down, taking care of him, and sitting at nighttime. So many nights that I sat and that be still and know that I am God. That's when I realized the difference between knowing Jesus and knowing and having a walking relationship with him.
Psalm 46:10.
You got it. It hangs on my wall.
It was evident to me when that all happened. I didn't know what happened. That was in that window where John and I weren't really hanging out, probably from 96 to 2001. Mm-hmm. And so when I finally came back into the circle, I was like, wow, what is going on with Jan? Mm-hmm. So to put even this conversation together, I knew that was part of how God prepared you for the difficulties with John.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. It was at that time I didn't realize that's what was happening.
Right.
But he did.
So now we've gone to the doctor. John's been diagnosed. Who do you tell? Like what did you do with that information then?
I told my daughter, our daughter.
And she was living in,
which she knew. She knew it.
She knew it already.
She knew it really before I did, because I think the fact that I was with John every day, and that makes a difference. I don't know, you just kind of accept things. But Kara knew definite that.
So she wasn't surprised.
No.
I think when we help clients, I would bet we probably knew it probably about when Jan or when Kara did, because we didn't see John every day.
Right.
And so for a lot of our clients, when we're talking to them, we can start to recognize, wait a minute, but if you're there all the time, it's like boiling a frog. You don't see it as you don't. So when Kara said that, then what happened?
I started wondering, what am I going to do?
Because the Jeter family, from my observation outside, it was a close-knit, tight-knit, but there was a pretty decent-sized support system with in-laws and things. So when did you go outside of Kara to the next level of the family? To
the relative, the sister, his sister, and I think very close friends, which we had developed over the years. But that was hard. It was hard to do. But it was almost like several I knew from their statements to me or whatever then that they had known this was coming really before I really realized how bad it was. But I think the Lord brought to my mind more than of the time that I had spent with his mom.
Okay.
Because I probably saw more of her even than John did. But John, I don't know. I just, I had to depend on the Lord. Because John was like, I listened more to John.
He was kind of like your God, really.
I said many, many times that when I got married to him, I thought I had married God almost. And of course, he would get upset if he would have ever heard me say that. That was not, but it was just, I don't know. Of course, I'd gone through with my dad having to give him up, care for him, and give him that up. He did not have dementia, but he had cancer.
Okay.
But it was just, you don't realize how much that you depend on them. I had really never been on my own. I lived at home until I got married, till John came from Indiana to Tennessee to take me out of that environment. So it was hard to realize that I'm going to have to step up and I've got to depend on the Lord.
Wouldn't you say anybody dealing with dementia, Jan, like if they try to do it from their own strength, they're probably going to get pummeled. Yeah.
They can't.
So you and I had an intimate moment, and it was really God-centric, as I would go to the Hardys and Fishers regularly to do my pre-morning workout to prep for the day. And so one morning I was sitting there and ready to go into Gimbal, and this thought hit me, go check on John. And I'm like, nope, I got stuff on I got my to-do list. I'm going to the office. And the thought came back, go check on John. And I probably had this conversation with a guy like 3 times. And I finally, the Hardys is what? 2-minute drive from your house? Not long.
Not even that far.
Yeah. So finally I said, okay,
Yes.
I will go check on John. And so I ring the doorbell. You tell the rest of the story.
And I had been really in tears because I did not have a caregiver at that time. And I had no way of getting John up. I was unable to. And I thought, what am I going to do? How is this going to happen, Lord? And we had spent many times, well, not many at that point, but there had been a time or two that John had fallen or whatever, and I down on the floor, and you couldn't get him up. And oh Lord, what am I going to do? How am I going? I needed to get him up because I needed to take care of him. And that doorbell rang, and there stood Keith. And I knew God had sent him.
Yeah.
He had to.
It was pretty humbling to me because it was that still small voice, be still and know I'm God. And so when I walked it, John was he was acting obstinate because that's what dementia does. It does it. It wasn't John, it was his deteriorating brain.
Right.
And he was being obstinate. And all he needed was for me to say, John, get up. And he sprung to attention and he got up like that. It was. I bet it'd take 10 minutes to get him up and moving after that. Yeah.
Right.
But that event really humbled me because I could have very easily said, no, I'm not going to
go.
Yeah. And nobody would know the difference. Right.
Right. That's right.
And so my encouragement to those of you that are walking alongside people that are aging, whether it's with dementia or other things, if that thought hits you to go help the family, I would act immediately because my guess is, Jan, and I don't know if you'd have any way to know this, is that with helping grieving people when they lose a loved one, most people don't go to the people because they don't know what to say or what to do. Right. But with dementia, I would think it'd be the same thing, is that most people are intimidated to reach out because they don't even know what to do or how to help or what they might get immersed in. And what I would encourage you is just do it. Just go and see.
That's right. If the Spirit tells you, you best go.
Yeah.
Because that was a lesson to me too at that time. And even now, it's weird how the Spirit within, if He's within you, works.
Yes.
That He can. And if it says send a note or go make the call, whatever, you best do it, because if you don't, you're not going to have peace until you do. But it's hard to know. I know there were a lot of people that would not come to visit because they didn't know how to react, I think, or it was just hard for them to see. I know one of his other closest friends, it was very, very difficult for him to do that.
There was, near the end, John was in a hospital bed.
Yes.
And I came to visit him this day, and it will forever be part of my life. Like, I can't, nobody was there. A shout out to our friends at Senior Home Companions. I know they helped a lot.
Yeah. Goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the adult assistant from Senior Home Companions was there, but they were in the living room, and John was back in his former study. And I have this inability, if nothing's going on, to just sit still. And at that point where John was, he was just kind of laying in the fetal position and nothing was going on. You weren't there. And so I came in, I'm like, oh, I don't know how long, I don't know how long to stay when nobody's responsive. And so I came to the side of the bed that he was facing and said something, and it just non-responsive. And so I'm like, well, I don't know, how long do you stand there? Like, how long? And so I went over, you had a couple, it seemed like wingback chairs on the other side of the bed or something.
Right.
And I sat down there and pondering and praying for John. And then you had scrapbooks there.
Oh, yes.
And so I probably went through all of those. And now I'm maybe 10 minutes in John's presence. And so I'm antsy. I'm like, what do I do now? Like the lady out there didn't really know who I was or anything. And I visited John. And so then I'm like, I can't stay anymore. My attention issues are done. And so I go back over to the way he's facing, and I put my hand on his. I said, John, I'm going to leave now. I love you. He opened his eyes and said, come back anytime. And I think you told me he hadn't been responsive in a long, long time.
Right. And that's the way dementia is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it revolutionized my life. I'm like, holy smokes. And I think I quickly called you and told you what happened. And I was like, wow, that was a gift from God through John's body to me. And so you never know if you're willing to go reach out to somebody. It may seem awkward. It may seem uncomfortable. But you don't really know who's present in this body that doesn't seem like anybody's present.
That's right.
Let me ask a few more questions, because I think this is going to bless a lot of people. And so if I think through my own experience with helping Mom through this season of life, how do you perceive that journey with John affected your mindset on patience?
You definitely have to have them. And it's not something you can do. You have to have the Lord's help. But it does. It takes a lot of patience. But it I don't know that I had as much patience before I went through that. But even when you know it in your head that you've got to, there will be times that you forget that and you get upset.
Well, that's helpful to know that even Jan Jeter gets upset.
And you can become very depressed at times. But I just feel that I was so blessed that the Lord allowed me to keep him at the house.
That was really cool.
Because it was a blessing,
And not everybody can do that. No, because you couldn't with his mom, right?
No, we could not.
Yeah,
we could not.
We couldn't do that with my mom. Her dementia. She got really violent, and everybody's dementia unfolds differently, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And no, we couldn't. That we had sort of set what the boundaries would be. Kara was at that time. She was like, about 12, 13, I think. I think she was 12 when Mom Jeter was with us. And we had said when certain things happened that we would have to look to placing her. And she ended up being in a facility almost 5 years.
Wow.
So she really, she was about 8 years with that. And
as much as you loved John, I bet you were thankful that you didn't have to go through 8 years.
Oh my, yes. Oh yes. And oh my, yes. Yes. That would be, I don't know that I know I couldn't have done it alone, but I am so grateful that didn't have to. And even now, Keith, there are so many different things that have happened. I mean, he's been gone 10 years, but I find myself saying, oh, thank goodness the Lord took him out and he didn't have to go through that. He didn't have to go through the COVID time. He would have been, oh goodness. He was,
let me ask you this question then, Jan. So you come in and he can't complete a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you navigated through all the stuff that you went through. And I don't believe in regrets, right? Like, I think regrets are a waste of energy. But if you could go back to that point from what you learned from what you did with John and all the things, what are 2 or 3 things you would tell our friends that they might incorporate if they find themselves walking in on a family member that can't complete a check?
Oh my. You can't do it alone. You've got, you've got to depend on the Lord. You've got to depend on the support system that the Lord places in your surroundings, in your life. May not be, you may think you don't really have a support system, but you need to ask them, where is that going to be? And
what if our friends that are watching don't have a faith like you?
Oh, I don't know how you can do it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Like, definitely they would need their support system, right?
Yes, definitely.
That was probably with Doug. You went to see my mom a few times with me, and I don't know how I could have done that without a level of faith, because it's really the way I explained it to the kids was that grandma is there, her brain is malfunctioning, and if your brain is what operates your body, it's going to malfunction because the brain is malfunctioning, and so that you don't know what's going to happen with that person's body.
Right.
Doug, any thoughts you have or questions?
One of the things I've really admired about Jan is Jan still works. And so it's this symphony theme of purpose that John had, that you have, and this theme of purpose just keeps echoing in your life. And I'm curious, like, you're coming out of the time John has died,
mm-hmm.
and now it's Jan,
mm-hmm.
and you'd been living under John's umbrella and his persona, right?
That's right.
And so now it's you.
Right.
And I see you out there making an impact at work. And I'm curious, what would you tell someone who has lost their spouse and they've gone through the dementia phase where your spouse is slowly dying?
You need to stay busy, not overly busy, but you do need to find that if you're still here, you have a purpose, and there is something that is definitely your calling. I mean, I think as long as I still have my health and I can move and do that, there must be a reason for me to still be here, and I need to do it, whatever that is. I'm just so grateful. Someone said the other day that it's getting Thanksgiving time, and we need to. I'm supposed to be going to a luncheon here not too long, and that the program is going to be, tell us one thing that you're very thankful for. And so that's been in my mind. And the only thing I can say is I'm thankful for the life that I've been blessed with
That's so cool.
in the past, and the one that, I have, I think, ahead. I mean, I just, there's no other way that I can say it. That's it. It's, I don't know. I have great joy.
Boy, that the November anchor is coming out shortly, and one of the things I wrote about is having an attitude of gratitude literally changes your brain. It literally, and the more that you can think that way, because it'd be really easy to be really pessimistic the day you came in and John couldn't fill out a check. Like you could take the poor pitiful me attitude, or you can choose positivity.
Well, yeah, that's the only way to get out of bed every day. Now,
I wanted to show you this picture. This we couldn't figure out when this was, Jan, but there's John.
Yes.
And he's got the Forum Credit Union hat on. Yes. And right over his head is somebody wearing a Gimbal hat. I see that. But right behind them, can you see what's right behind the Gimbal hat there? That's part of your network there. That looks to be Cheryl to me.
With Cheryl.
Yep. So that's part of your network. Then I had this picture.
Oh, my.
This was at Fitness Lane that you guys were consistent advocates of Gimbal Financial. I don't know what the pizza party was all about, but
it's like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, you must have won the door prize there. And then I liked this picture of John. That was a dinner we had somewhere at Gimbal one time, but just that genuine, loving smile of John there just made me happy just reflecting on that picture as well. And so I just really appreciate you taking time to hang out with us. I don't know who in our friend group is going to have to navigate this path that you've been on, but any words that have happened today that can help those people, I think is a big deal. Because I'd put in life stressful events, top 10 walking through life with a dementia patient is pretty high in my life. But anything you would want to say to our friends before we wrap up to encourage them?
I would say that you got to keep looking up and asking for help from the Lord and from those around you. And it's just a joy to get up each and every morning, even though there's some days it takes a little longer to do it. But I know that there's different phases and in the journey with dementia, but it's possible to navigate your way through it. When you say for better, for worse, that keeps ringing in your head.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Dan. I love you. I'm thankful for our friendship.
I appreciate you. You don't know how much. Both of you.
Well, very well. Well, we'll catch all of you all soon. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about this topic.